WGSN-DB Going Solo Network welcomes you to award-nominated relationship internet radio talk show, Going Solo with Cece. Host Cece Shatz is a speaker, author, blogger, and the leading transitional divorce and dating coach with My Friends Connect and Going Solo Next Step. Now, together, let's join Cece.
Welcome. This is Cece with Going Solo, and it is so great to have you guys back. I missed you. So today we're going to move right forward with our guest today, and our guest is Shan White, and she is a certified divorce coach. And, we have a lot in common, and, I wanted to bring her on tonight because so many of us, as you all know, we have traveled through, and we're trying to travel through divorce recovery into transition into dating relationships and really trying to live our best life. And I felt that she was really the go-to person to be able to help us with some of the difficulties that we are struggling with. And she is a certified life coach from the Tony Robbins School, highly professional, highly trained. And welcome to the show.
Well, it's my pleasure, Miss Cece. I'm glad to be here.
Well, it's great to have you. And like I said, we have a parallel of what we do to helping others. And I was so touched by an article that you had written recently regarding fear with our transition of divorce recovery and into dating. And I wanted to reach out and really bring you on the show because I think that you can change lives, definitely change lives on the listeners here with this ongoing solo. So I'm so fortunate to have you on the show. So tell us now, how did you get into this arena, this type of work?
Well, I have to tell you, Cece, it was through going through a horrible divorce myself. And at the time, about 6 years ago, there really wasn't the help out there that there is today. And so I knew that I was going to be becoming a life coach. I was going to be certified. And you know what? It suddenly hit me. Of course, in our training, they talk about you're going to want to have a certain type of niche. And as I thought about it, I thought, oh, my gosh, who do I have the greatest heart for? And that is for women in particular. I specialize with women, working with women in either divorce recovery, they're in the midst of it, or a lot of times the divorce is over. I have been through it. I have been there. I was left for dead. And I don't think that, we all go through different circumstances. However, I don't think that there is an emotion that is felt out there through this process that I haven't experienced deeply. And so this is my heart. This is my passion.
Yeah, and that's why I felt so close to you. When I read your article, it just brought me in and made me realize that this is someone that has been touched and really healed from within and moving forward in a way that changes lives, helps individuals be able to move forward. And for this, I'm very thankful for. And there's so many things that we could talk about today. Is there any one thing that's hitting you and the people that you're helping that you wanted to maybe touch on today?
Sure. I think one, and you and I have discussed this before as well, Cece, and that is, I think, one of the areas that is so difficult to deal with, and that is the bugaboo issue of trust, meaning I am divorcing or have been divorced. I have been in some way betrayed, whether it's financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually, through cheating. There's so many levels of betrayal. And then the question becomes, how can I ever trust again? I thought this was going to be forever. This person, which was hopefully the most important person in my life who has betrayed me, and how do I move forward? And you know what? With my clients, I have a little bit of a different take on it. And there's so many great, this isn't to dismiss any others that talk about trust and all the different ways in which you can deal with it, and they are so very helpful. But as far as my research has gone and my own personal experience is that, Cece, trust is really not about being able to trust others as much as it is about trusting yourself. So let me explain. To trust yourself, first of all, you've got to know yourself. And if you don't believe that you can trust yourself, then you don't really know yourself as deeply as you possibly can. For example, when my husband and I married, we married like most do, with 2 chicks and no dog model of marriage. And most people are like, what are you talking about, Stan? 2 chicks and no dog? I have to tell you, I give Larry Crabb, who is a counselor, for using this metaphor, and that is this. Chicks are, by virtue, intended to suck the lifeblood out of things in order for their own survival. And so I went into the marriage and found out later on that my husband did too, and a lot of marriages are this way, and that is they are looking to suck the life out of the other person, meaning they're approaching the marriage by saying, I have a hole in my heart, if you will, an emptiness that I want you, my partner, to fill me up. And I want you to make me feel important, beautiful, wonderful, loved, whatever the case may be. And so that there you have image. Now, that's a marriage with 2 ticks and no dog to, suck off of, because obviously in a relationship like that, you're looking for that other person to give you what only you yourself can give. And only after I divorced did I come to know myself better and understand that I could give myself those things I thought I needed someone else to make me feel, say, for example, good about myself. So after the marriage, once I became to know myself better, then I could trust myself to make better choices. So it no longer was a problem of trusting others. I could trust myself to pick up on the vibes of another tick, as it were, because I was one myself. And so I set an intention that I don't want someone like that with my new understanding that are 2 approaches to marriage, and that is you're either coming to the marriage with a viewpoint of scarcity, meaning I have a need, or you're coming with yourself filled up. And my personal belief is when 2 people come together that are full and they have the model of abundance, then it becomes a beautiful relationship where I'm full and I'm giving you out of my overflow, not out of my scarcity. So that's kind of a little bit of a long runabout way to say that trust really is more about you and trusting in yourself. And if you're not trusting yourself enough, then there's just a deeper level of knowing who you really are and, what you're capable of. What are your thoughts on that, Cece?
That is so true, and I've often said that a lot of times when we start focusing on the other party, we're going through divorce, on all the different situations that have happened, whether it's infidelity or all of the other things, what we're doing is we're actually taking ownership of that because we're bringing that forward to ourselves. And so if they decided to step outside of the marriage, or they didn't focus on us because of their job, or whatever the reason might be, it's not ours to take on. It's only of the depth of ourselves that we should look at. And, what part did we play in it? And if we acknowledge that, oh, yeah, okay, maybe we did do something, we did play a part in it, then we acknowledge that, we recognize that, and those are the things that we work on. Is if we work too hard, or if we did something, then we can take ownership of our own behavior and our own thoughts, because we can't control somebody else. We can't control what they did, or if they're ever going to do it again. We can only control what we did and our thoughts to it. So it is a better knowing of ourselves and acceptance of ourselves for who we are, what we want, what we desire, where we want to go in life. So it's really understanding that.
Oh, I just love what you said about taking responsibility, personal responsibility for what we brought to the marriage, grow out of that, decide who it is that what we are and what we want to become. And then, you know what, don't you don't you find that whether you're looking to date or marry again or not, matters not, but don't you find that when there's a healing in yourself that you are then attracting a different type of person as well?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I've had to, from my own experience, and maybe you feel the same way, we'll share it with the audience, is that I had to actually look really deep at my own life and my own situation. And I thought more about, as I was growing up as a child, what I experienced, how I was feeling. And I could see a lot of my insecurities that I brought forward into my adult life was really based on my insecurity as of being, raised, being young, and my expectation of what a relationship was supposed to be like. And now today that I'm in, my latter years of life, I'm changing that expectation of what I want my life to be. And I think we do evolve as we grow as individuals. Wouldn't you say?
I would, and it's so, what, I bet a lot of those that are listening in right now they're going to probably find the same thing because, Cece, I am just like you, and there's got to be so many people out there, at least those that I work with, and that is exactly right. I, too, had a huge amount of insecurities, was brought up in an environment of a performance environment, meaning if you don't perform perfectly and be the good girl, then love is withdrawn from you. And so I went into the relationship with those same expectations that I'm really, if I were to be honest with myself, Cece, I was going into it from that scarcity standpoint that there's a need, there's a lack in me. I don't feel good about myself. I've got huge amounts of insecurities, and so I want someone else to heal me, to love me, to make me feel all the things that I never felt as a child, never realizing that the healing actually starts within and that I could actually become the woman I've always dreamed of being and really, honestly, never thought was possible. And then I could bring that to the table as opposed to, again, the tick model. And you're so right. Let me say this. A lot of us maybe even have, it depends on our path of life, but a lot of us have those insecurities and maybe aren't quite vividly aware of them as perhaps maybe they are now going through, and you start to question and evaluate. But I tell you what, isn't the growth worth it, hon?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I've even just written a chapter in a book from, it's called Dare to be Authentic, Volume 3, with Mari Mitchell, and with a lot of ladies as a collaborative author. And my chapter is titled Going Solo, Learning to Be Me, learning trust from going through my divorce. And so I won't give all of it away because I do want you guys to buy the book. But I realized that my life was shaped at an early path, and my expectation of a relationship was based on that. And so in every relationship I had thereafter, I kept wanting more, but I didn't know why I wanted more and why I wasn't getting more, and understanding what I was getting was where I was at. So taking me through my divorce now and moving me forward, realizing that I had to work on myself, made me only to understand that it was really my past and not understanding myself and moving through that. So to make a long story short, I do feel that we do attract what we do believe and what we think we're worthy of. Maybe that word, use that word, worthy, because I think that was one of my problems, that I didn't think I was worthy of a good man that wouldn't necessarily abuse me in some sort, because that's what I was used to. So now, looking at my life and understanding who I am now, it's like, forget this, man. I am worthy of a whole lot more, and I'm going to shape my life and open my heart out to someone that is worthy of me. And so I've just changed my whole mindset of it, and I think it's opened just the parameters for me to really move forward and enjoy my life. And so I see that within the people that my life has touched, those that have come into my divorce support group and those that have experienced listening to the radio broadcast.